Do you know what?
No, what, Dwayne?
We need to jump down the rabbit hole. Here we go. Right, Philip, we're in the rabbit hole, and I just want to ask, this is going to be nothing special. Well, it could be special, but nothing too controversial, I hope. I just want to get your thoughts on the first time you were consciously aware of an anniversary celebration of Doctor Who, because I know you're a huge fan of the Three Doctors, but you probably weren't consciously aware of the Three Doctors at the time. So what was your first Doctor Who anniversary experience in real time?
In real time would have been the 20th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been 1983. I would have been in year 9. Year 9 I would have been in. And yeah, so that was my first knowledge, and there's a big build up to it. It's one of the few shows, I mean, Australia's viewing of Doctor Who has been bizarre in terms of, when I first started watching the show as a 10, 11-year-old, it was constantly repeating over and over again. And then they'd add a new season in, and then they'd go back and just... So Doctor Who was always on. But when we hit Peter Davison, and even to Tom's last season, it was a bit disjointed in terms of how long it would take. I mean, I think they had to walk the episodes from the UK to Australia because it seemed to take forever for them to actually arrive. So it always took a very long time, and they were disjointed and all over the place, and sometimes mixed in the wrong order as new series came. But because it was a special anniversary special, it appeared straight away, and so we got to see it. It was a special viewing on the ABC. I'm trying to think. I think it may even been on the anniversary or the night before the. Actually, I think it was on the night of the anniversary, which makes me think. I think we saw it before the UK did, because we're so many hours ahead. We actually got to watch it first. So I think anywhere in the world we got to watch that episode first. And yeah, that Five Doctors episode blew me away. I did actually already know the story because I'd read the book before, because the book was released, I think by mistake, before the show came out, and I'd actually been at a Doctor Who function and bought the book and read the whole book in an hour or two, because it's a pretty easy read. It's sort of Terrence Dicks's slackish version at the time when he was writing. He wrote really good at the beginning, he wrote really good at the end, but there's a whole middle section where he just went blur from the script. So there's nothing particularly interesting in it. There is a scene with Susan being taken in the book.
Right. Which
doesn't appear in the TV series. So it's Susan in the future of Earth, and I think she's on a travelator, and her being taken and thinking about her grandfather and the thing appearing. So I think that might be the only scene I think that's in the book that's not in the TV series. But I remember being very excited by that, because there's a great little scene. So yeah, so for me it would be the 20th. And for you, Dwayne, what's your first anniversary memory?
My first anniversary would be the 25th anniversary, which was a little bit different because it was incorporated within the season. There was no special episode apart from, well, they say Silver Nemesis was the special episode, but because, like you said, we were delayed in getting the episodes, we got Remembrance of the Daleks after Dragonfire, and we saw that. And I just remember how blown away I was by the first episode, because that season 24 had me a little bit worried. I was very serious and earnest in my sort of middle teenage years there, and I was worried that it was getting a bit too silly. And then Remembrance of the Daleks came on. I thought, wow, this is it. And what a fantastic story, because I consider Remembrance and Silver Nemesis to be the anniversary stories, both of them. They both have callbacks to those earlier stories within the classic era, which I think is vital for anniversary stories. So, and there was a lot of hype around it too. I'd not long joined the Doctor Who club, so there was a lot of hype coming through Data Extract, people talking about it, particularly Silver Nemesis. Some of the things like the chessboard, there was a big thing about the chessboard in there, where that was leading, and the mystery that was getting injected back into Doctor Who. So that whole season seemed to be like a build-up of anticipation for what was to come. And it was very exciting for me as a young fan, not knowing any of the politics behind the fact that the BBC hated it, behind the fact that J&T was always trying to get out of producing it. I knew none of that. So not knowing any of that and just seeing what was on the screen was pretty special. I was highly anticipating Series 26, and I think those anniversary stories had a lot to do with that build up to season 26, and I think it might have given the production team at the time the confidence to go ahead with what they did. It's just such a shame it didn't continue on from there. But those last 2 years of the classic series were something pretty special, I think. Not least because of those anniversary stories.
Speaking of anniversary stories, we're about to look at a story from the 30th, and there was a television 30th anniversary story, The Dimensions of Time. Do you remember seeing that? I mean, it wasn't actually officially shown on Australian TV? No,
I never saw it. I heard all about it, and I also heard about this thing called the Dark Dimension, and there were rumours of Tom Baker coming back, and I thought this is going to be interesting, but that's kind of left as well, sort of as quickly as I heard about it, went on to something else. But there was also the talk about Spielberg getting the rights to Doctor Who and making something as well, so I was pretty excited about that, about the possibility of that, because Star Trek Next Generation and I think by that stage Deep Space Nine were both going full swing as well, so I thought, oh wow, if the Americans get hold of Doctor Who, it could be something really special, because those two shows I really followed heavily in the late 80s, early 90s, so I was excited about that. But no, never saw Dimensions in Time until a lot later.
Right.
Did you see it?
I did. My cousin in England, he posted it. He videoed it and sent me a video. So a VHS arrived with the glasses, the 3D glasses.
Okay.
So, because it's done in 3D. So a couple of months after it was on, I got to watch. And then he recorded lots of other things that had been on at the same time too. So I had I still have it, a VHS of and I would have watched it lots and lots of times with the glasses on. And there's actually a whole kids program, I think, explaining how the technology works and the movement and why it has to go from left to right. And so all that is explained about how to make it 3D. You have seen it now though, haven't you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I don't really consider it an anniversary story as such. It's just I don't know. It's a bit like the Rowan Atkinson thing. It's like comic relief type. Well, it was comic relief, wasn't it? Or was it before comic relief?
That's a good question. I don't know if it was comic relief or not. I think
because it was a mashup between EastEnders and Doctor Who, wasn't it?
It was, because it's all done in the sets of EastEnders and with lots of the EastEnders cast in it too.
Yeah,
at that stage.
So I don't really consider it a real story myself. I don't know about you.
No, I don't think it is. But it was certainly an anniversary special. Just it's a bit like the Star Wars Christmas special. It's absolute garbage, but it's still nevertheless there as a special.
Yeah.
We can totally discount it. That's okay, but it's there as a piece of history.
Yeah, interesting. I can look at it now and see it for what it is, but at first I was kind of well, yeah, I can see what everyone's talking about. It got,
but that does star John Pertwee and Elizabeth Sladen together, and it's Nicholas Courtney in it too.
Yeah, very good. All right. Shall we climb up out of the rabbit hole? If you enjoyed what you heard in this clip from the Sirens of Audio podcast, be sure to subscribe and click that notification bell so you never miss out on another episode from us. And if you want to find out more about us, including our back catalogue of episodes, you can head over to sirensofaudio.com.